Now, this is an idea that didn't really occur to me when I was first learning to play, but when it comes to learning chords, chords can kind of be used as licks, kind of the same way single note moves can be used as licks. And what I mean is, you know what happens when you learn a chord and you're like, oh, that's a cool chord. What do I do with it? And it's not until you learn how to string those chords together into cool ideas that they start to feel useful. So in this lesson, I want to show you just a small sequence of chords using these voicings called Freddie Green chords. It's something you usually hear used for jazz and swing comping, but they're great for playing blues, and they're great for fingerstyle blues in particular. So in this lesson, we're just going to look at the first 4 bars of an 8-bar blues. I'm going to show you a couple of chord licks to pull everything together. Now, this is an idea we're exploring this month inside my membership, the Fingerstyle 5. We've been working on the 8-bar blues, How Long Blues, for a couple of months, and now here in March, we're working on arranging the song, putting it together into a complete instrumental or vocal arrangement of the song. So if you'd like to learn this kind of move, along with a bunch of other intros and vamps and soloing ideas and ways to arrange the tune, complete with tab and live streams and Q&A sessions, I encourage you to check out the Fingerstyle 5 at the link below or the link on screen. You can join now and get access to everything we've been working on for the past several months, plus everything that we're working on right now. Okay, so the first thing you got to do is know what chord progression you're playing on. Before you start to do anything fancy with it, you got to know what the bones of the song are. So this song, How Long Blues, this 8-bar blues, is 2 bars of the 1 chord. I'm in the key of A, so that's A7, and then 2 bars of the 4 chord, D7. But a lot of times you can also vary those chords even more. We're going to start off with this idea of 2 bars of A and 2 bars of D. Now, the Freddie Green chord voicings are built off of strings 6, 4, and 3. And since we're playing solo acoustic guitar, if we can use an open string in the bass, we will. But sometimes it's easier to move the fingerings around if you keep everything in closed position, meaning no open strings, right? So this opening chord A7, we've got the root and the flat 7 and the 3rd. And we can play it like this on the 5th fret, 5th fret, and 3rd fret. Sorry, 5th fret, 5th fret, and 6th fret. That's the 3rd of the chord. Or we can use the open A string and play on the 5th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. But either way, once we have this chord, we can start to walk up and that takes up 2 bars of A, but we're not just playing an A chord, so what's going on? Well, we're doing a series of chord substitutions, meaning we're starting with the home chord, A, and then saying, well, can we go away from that and come back to it? And the 2 simplest ways to go away from the 1 chord are to go to the other 2 most prominent chords in the key, the 4 chord and the 5 chord. So in this case, we could go from A7 to E7, which I'm playing with the 5th in the bass, and then the 3rd, and then the flat 7, always still on the 6th, 4th, and 3rd string. So from A7 to E7, and then back to A. This is an A with a C sharp in the bass. I've got the 3rd, the root, and the 5th of A. And then we can think about this a few different ways. Just to keep it simple, I'm going to think of this as a D6 chord with the root, the 6th, and the 3rd. So I've basically gone 1, 5, 1, 4, and then I can come back down. 1, 5, 1. And if I do things a little bit more rhythmically interesting with that, and then stick in a little lick, now I'm ready to do something on bars 3 and 4, where I have the D7, the 4 chord. Now, once I'm on the D chord, I'm playing D7 here with the 5th in the bass, and then the 3rd and the flat 7. And I could also get the 5th with an open string. I could play that A here on the open A string. But from here, I'm going to go up to this G chord. This is G with the 3rd in the bass, plus the root in the 5th. It's kind of like going to the 4 of the 4 chord. So here's D to G. Here's another kind of D. This is basically a D9. It's like I have the flat 7 and the 5th and the 9 of D here. So, and then back to the G chord. So this is like going D, G, D, G, D. I could think of this as G again, like a G6 chord. I could also think of this as being a kind of A9. Here's the flat 7, the 5th, and the 9. And then I'm going to land on D with F sharp in the bass. Here's the 3rd, the root, and the 5th. So on the D chord I have, and if I make that a little more rhythmically interesting, and then I can come back to my A chord for bar 5. So the thing about these chords is that they give you the feeling of a melody on top, and the feeling of a moving bass line. And so you're also getting, in addition to the melody and the bass, you're still getting that steady 4/4 pulse. Because even if you syncopate with the fingers, the bass is still very consistently right on the downbeat. And that means you can mix and match this with the steady bass. So if you're playing an arrangement of a tune, go into some of these chords. It's a really useful way to be able to get around as long as you know the voicings and you have an idea of how to start putting them together. And the best part is these ideas can be borrowed, stolen, transposed, moved around. You can use them wherever you want to because they're basically these closed position ideas. But you can also use open strings if you happen to have them in the bass. So like if you're playing on a blues in A and you get to the turnaround, which is E, right, a bar of E and a bar of D. Well, if you know that you can use A like this, then you can take that down 5 frets and use it on E. And you know, if you already did this stuff on D, you can turn it around and go up. So in the first case, you're going from an E chord through its 5 chord to another E. And in the second case, you're going from a D chord, passing through its 4 chord down to another D chord. So for the turnaround, which is super cool. And it simultaneously takes you a little bit outside the usual colors of an acoustic blues arrangement and doesn't take you so far that it sounds really weird. It just sounds like you've still got that quarter note steady bass pulse, but you've got these. You've got these other colors and these moving bass lines and things going on, which really can give your blues in A a really colorful sound. So that's the idea. Again, I'll be spending this month going over arranging tools and techniques for the 8-bar blues, How Long Blues inside my membership, the Fingerstyle 5. We'll have in-depth live streams, Q&A sessions, and of course, lots of notation and tab for intros, vamps, shout chorus, solo ideas, all the tools you need to put together your own arrangement of this classic 8-bar blues. Plus, of course, access to the dozens of other traditional and contemporary blues songs that we've already covered. To join us, go to the link below or the link on screen. And in the meantime, if you've got a question about today's YouTube lesson, please leave it for me down below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.